This video is sponsored by my foot. It is injured, if you couldn't see there. I hit it into a cinder block, and let's just say, no toenail was seen. But I'm still here filming this video. I do this for you guys. Hey guys, AGYT Abbott here, and welcome to my top 15 best films of 2023. Before we begin, please understand that we are absolutely going to disagree on the films I have on the list. Some of you may even bomb me in the comments with hatred for some of my opinions here. But everyone has their own top 15, and I'm sure they don't all look like mine, so I can put that to rest now. Also, keep in mind, I only watched 75 films this year. There are plenty I haven't seen, like The Iron Claw, Haunted Mansion, Maestro, Saltburn, Priscilla, Past Lives, Godzilla Minus One, and no, I didn't have time to watch nearly 3 hours of Taylor Swift. With that in mind, let's get into some honorable mentions. Number 18, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Now, I didn't review this one simply because there was a lot of different films coming out at this time, and I was also very busy during the summer. Sorry about that, but here is what I think of this movie. It is just a very fun and high-octane animated adventure for not only fans of the Turtles, but for animated film fans in general. The animation and character design here is just so unique, and I love looking at it. It also has a great voice cast and a nice heartfelt message to it. It's definitely one to show the kids. Number 17, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I actually just became intrigued in these films this year once I began watching them, and it might just be me, but this is my favorite one. I think the third act definitely goes on a bit too long, but I still was engaged in what was happening. Tom Blythe and Rachel Zegler do a fine job selling their chemistry together, and it's all around a thrilling time. It gives you that chaos and intensity that you're expecting in a Hunger Games film. Number 16, Barbie. Now, you guys might remember in my review, I gave this a 10 out of 10, but I needed to reevaluate things and rewatch it. It was in my top 3 at one point this year, but the more I thought about it, it needed to be brought down. I'll admit, I was caught up in the Barbenheimer hype, and the fun I had with this film made me hold it higher than I should have. I'll be doing a media dumpster episode on this in the next few months, so be on the lookout for that. It's not bad, I just had so much fun while watching it that it blinded me from the things that don't really work in the film. I mean, there are things that are definitely very hilarious about it. There is some remarkable filmmaking behind it. Greta Gerwig does a great job in the director's chair, and Ryan Gosling, Margot Robbie, they do a great job as our leads. And I'm just Ken Still Rocks. I listen to that like almost every day. But yeah, stay tuned for the media dumpster for more details. Now entering our top 15, we have Creed 3. I am a massive Rocky fan, and I've also really loved the Creed films. This one was very emotional, very inventive with its fight sequences, and packs quite a punch in the acting department. Despite the drama going on currently, Jonathan Majors does a good job, and he sells the tension between him and Michael B. Jordan very well. This is also Michael B. Jordan's first time directing, and I can't wait for more of that because he knocks it out of the ring with this one. That was a boxing pun right there. The fight sequences are just so different from what we're used to. We are so used to the typical Rocky fight scenes where it's all televised and really commercialized, I guess, in a way, where you have the announcers announcing every single thing. But here, you have these two characters that have such a complex history with each other, and you get really just to be in their headspaces during the fight, and I thought that really worked in this movie's favor. Definitely check it out. At number 14, we have Scream 6. Scream 7 has currently lost both lead actresses and its director, but at least we got this film. It's a blast seeing Ghostface hack his way through New York City, and there are just so many great sequences in this one. The bodega scene is tense, the attack on Gale Weathers is heart-pounding, the subway scene is chilling, and it all wraps up with a great finale. Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega continue to dominate the screen, and I absolutely love that they're not above viciously murdering the killer. It's kind of refreshing where you have these main characters that are running away from Ghostface, but when it comes time to have their revenge, they are kind of psychopaths. Samantha in particular seems to get a very big kick out of her killings in this one, and I like how fresh that feels for the franchise, for sure. If this is the last Scream film for a while, it's a solid one to keep me entertained while I wait. At number 13, Eli Roth's newest film, Thanksgiving. I recently watched this one. I literally could not believe how damn cool this movie was. Sure, the characters are hardly developed. They are pretty much cardboard cutouts of horror movie characters. But man, does this John Carver killer think up some damn good ways to get rid of them. There is so much gore, there is so much comedy to it, there is so much commentary to the commercialism and the the hype and the chaos that ensues around not only Thanksgiving but Black Friday, the drama that can come up between families, and just really kind of how we lose kind of the meaning of Thanksgiving within all of this commercialism. I thought the movie handled that message very well without hammering it in your face. I'm definitely looking forward to the sequel to this one, and I want to see where things go with this killer. I loved the opening sequence. I was so shocked right out of the gate, and I'm thankful for this fun-filled slasher's existence. At number 12 is Wonka. I am shocked that this movie made it onto the list. I had no overly negative or positive reaction to the news or the trailers for this film. I really just thought it would be okay. But trust me, it is way more than that. You guys can check out my review I did recently to see my full thoughts on it, but this is one of the most delightful and fun movies I've seen this year. You absolutely need to go check that one out. Timothée Chalamet is great as Wonka. I would watch him in future movies. The cast itself is just delightful. You can tell they have a lot of fun on set here. The songs are catchy. It pays tribute to the original film and the Johnny Depp film in some ways without pandering extremely hard. It's just a very wholesome and joyous feel that embodies the entire film. At number 11 is Talk to Me. It would really feel wrong not to have an A24 film in my top 15, as they are always trying to find new ways to blow me away, and they have done it again. Talk to Me is a fantastic horror film, coming all the way from these filmmakers that were just making simple videos on YouTube to getting picked up by A24. That is an absolute dream, by the way. Congratulations to those guys. And it just does so much well. It uses horror tropes that we've seen in past horror films, and it never simply stops there. It just keeps developing and expanding on the ideas. The film not only gets me every single time with this specific scare, but it actively makes you feel uncomfortable as these characters get pulled further into the dark side of playing this game. It's like a high that they're getting off of playing with this mannequin hand, and you're like, oh, you guys are such idiots, but at the same time they add a level of humanity to it where you understand why they are making these baffling decisions. It is just brutal, shocking, and spine-tingling all the way. Getting into our top 10 is The Flash. Not long after I reviewed The Flash on the channel, if you remember back to that, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I revisited it and really tried to block out the glaring problems with this film. The CGI is obviously really bad. It does not look good. That doesn't mean there isn't a great film hidden beneath that. I don't think this is the greatest comic book film of all time or anything, but there is definitely something special here. I love the heartfelt messages within it. I like Barry's connection with his mom. That's very much the heart of the film. I like his dynamic with himself, with his past self. Ezra Miller, once again, same situation as Jonathan Majors. I know all of that drama surrounding him, but that does not take away from he did a great job in this movie playing these different versions of himself, and I think they pulled off the emotional moments very well. The story is very gripping. I was into it the whole time. Around the second time, honestly, I didn't look at it the same way as I did the first time because I was just focused on all of the crazy CGI, which, yes, it is distracting. But I gotta kind of look away from that and focus on the aspects that I really, really like that can kind of make me forgive that somewhat. Because seeing Michael Keaton back as Batman is amazing. Sasha Calle as Supergirl is a great addition to the film as well. I hope she gets more time in the DCU. It may not look glamorous, but there is plenty of spectacular stuff with further glance at this film. At number 9 is The Last Voyage of the Demeter. This is going to be one that might surprise you. It surprised me as well. This is a movie about Dracula on a boat. Sounds forgettable, but it's not. The cast, including Corey Hawkins, David Dastmalchian, and Liam Cunningham, do a great job here as they sell the tragedy and intensity as Dracula kills off the boat crew one by one. There are people burning alive, there are some brutal kills from Dracula, and this film just does not hold back with the darkness. I also relate to this film from The Predator because it's got a group of unsuspecting characters slowly picked off and stalked by this creature that is always one step ahead of them. I really enjoy that aspect of it. Anything that kind of mirrors that Predator style, because I am a huge Predator fan, I'm always into it. And I'm not sure if they will make a sequel to this because it didn't do very well at the box office. But what can I say? I love horror. I like finding little hidden gems like this, and it's a hidden gem for me, I'm sorry. Even if a sequel is just dropped on streaming, I'll be there for it. At number 8 is Evil Dead Rise. I had a lot of fun watching this bloodbath this year, and I'm also glad to hear they're going to continue giving us these movies more often. This has to be one of the most brutal films of the year, and it makes no apologies for that. They really picked out a great premise for it, with making the story about a family and having the mom be the one that gets possessed. I think that's a really engaging aspect to it. You gotta kind of have to see how this family is going to adjust to this realization that their mom is trying to kill them, and she's just possessed by this ancient evil. And Beth serves as a badass main character, I believe. At least that's what I got out of it. And Alyssa Sutherland really gives one heck of a performance as Ellie. She just really sells that just creepiness well of that deadite mom, just like, open up now. That was very creepy. Everything from the cheese grater scene, eyeball biting, elevator filling up with the blood, and the melted together deadite at the end, it just makes this a very memorable film for this franchise. At number 7 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This is a groundbreaking achievement in comic book and animated movies. Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy are given even more development and interesting arcs here. Spider-Man 2099 is a deeply mysterious Spider-Man variant that I can't wait to learn more about, and I love that he's voiced by Oscar Isaac, because that dude rules. And oh yeah, the fact that this film combines like 6 styles of animation is just making this one of the most crowd-pleasing films of the year. It also keeps your attention for the near 2.5 hour runtime and leaves you wanting the next one as soon as it's over. It's got Legos, live-action cameos, stunning visuals, heartbreaking revelations, and quite a few fantastic twists. I really love the twist, I'm not going to go into too much spoilers here, involving the spider that bit Miles in the previous film. If you've seen Across the Spider-Verse, you know what I'm talking about. That was sick, and I cannot wait to see where Part 2 takes us. It's just a movie that encapsulates the love for Spider-Man perfectly. It's like when you think of Spider-Man, you think of Spider-Man No Way Home and this one. It is a blast. At number 6, we have everyone's favorite killer dancer, Megan. I know, I rank this over one of the most praised comic book films in years. I love horror films that not only know how ridiculous it is, but make that ridiculousness the sole marketing point of the film. There was no one on this earth that didn't see this on the internet. They didn't go their day without seeing Megan dancing. Trust me on this, y'all. This film is something special. Okay, it takes a look at how loss can affect a child, how technology has engulfed this generation, and how filling the void instead of feeling the pain isn't always the best option. Jenna Davis does a great job as the voice of the titular killer, and Violet McGraw definitely has a bright future in the industry. Yes, the PG-13 rating still weighs it down and it takes it away from being able to reach its full potential. My criticism hasn't changed on that, but I just love campy horror. That's really all I can say, because there's plenty of other campy horror films that are pretty high on my ranking this year that other people would have in like their bottom 20 or 15 even. And I'm sorry, it's just who I am. It has a lot of potential to be even better with the sequel, so I'm very much anticipating that. And I can look past its issues to just enjoy the fun. At number 5 is Beau is Afraid. I absolutely love this 3-hour-long, insane, and chaos-filled movie. When I think of a 3-hour-long movie I want to watch, No, I don't think of Oppenheimer. No, I don't think of Killers of the Flower Moon. I don't think of Avatar. I think of Beau is Afraid, because this is just a phenomenal watch, okay? It's not for everyone, trust me. But hear me out. Joaquin Phoenix plays a man that is pretty much anxiety personified. What follows is 3 hours of stress, madness, and horrific events unfolding in this guy's life. I'm not going to spoil any of it here. You can check out my review if you want to know the details. But just know, this movie gets wild. Did it need to be 3 hours? No. But I think the end result is absolutely worth the wait. My jaw is on the floor watching this one, and you will be the same, okay? Ari Aster really pulls out all the stops with the insanity of this film. He did Hereditary and Midsommar and somehow still made a movie more insane and horrific than those two. That's insane to me. I can't get into much more of this without spoiling, but all you need to know is this is one weird journey you don't want to miss. Like I said, it's not for everyone, but don't be afraid to give it a chance. At number 4 is Saw X, and this should be no surprise if you saw my review. I loved this entry into the franchise. The Saw films have always been one of my favorite franchises to rewatch, and this film somehow makes you feel like even after 10 films, this franchise still has some steam and still has ideas to expand upon. Tobin Bell is phenomenal as John Kramer, and the decision to make him the lead character is something I had never thought of before, but the way the story is crafted makes it work so much. Having Kramer in the spotlight is just remarkable to watch, as you actually feel sympathy for him, and you find humanity in this character that you've seen kill people throughout the past few movies. Actually, like, what, 8? 9? I don't even know at this point. The traps are great. It's a Saw film that you actually want to see the people in the traps die a little bit, and you actually want to see them fail. And I'm just in love with the whole aesthetic and concept of this film. And if you love the franchise, it's definitely not hard to love this one. Especially because it brought back that classic feel, that classic tone, and the look of a Saw film. At number 3 is John Wick Chapter 4. The John Wick movies are arguably one of the greatest action franchises we've gotten in the last decade, and Chapter 4 continues what made the other 3 films so enjoyable. Keanu Reeves is great and does so many amazing stunts in this one. The action set pieces are phenomenal. The choreography is badass. The cinematography is amazing. And even hilarious at times. This movie can be really funny. It ends, at least for now, the journey of John Wick beautifully. The locations are fascinating. You have Donnie Yen and Bill Skarsgård eating the scenery up, really doing whatever they can with these roles, knocking it out of the park, and dominating the screen when you aren't focused on Keanu Reeves. And the insane thing that John goes through in this movie, just so many insane things, it's just astounding. You could just not ask for a more satisfying conclusion to these films, and I'm so excited to see what the John Wick universe has in store for us. Now, similar to last year's ranking, these last 2 films will probably go back and forth in my mind for a long time. But as of the date of me filming this, this is where they rank. Number 2 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I absolutely love the amount of love and attention that James Gunn puts into his movies, and Volume 3 has quite possibly the most of that on display. You're given satisfying and compelling arcs for each of the Guardians, and they even give them a great conclusion. Like, how do you give, like, 6, 7 characters a fantastic conclusion? That's the power of James Gunn. Rocket Raccoon in particular is the standout here, as his backstory gets revealed, and it is just heart-wrenching to watch. He got the most emotion out of me, for sure. James Gunn just has a great talent of taking these broken people, these broken characters, and making you love them, and he just does that so much with these Guardian movies that by the time you're at the end of this one, you are, if you're not emotional or feeling it, I don't know what's wrong with you, honestly. The film is also incredibly funny and very large in scale, with a threat that it's not necessarily world-ending, but it's someone that has so much power and also has done so many rotten things that he simply needs to be stopped before he does something even worse. The High Evolutionary is also one of the best villains we've ever gotten in the MCU since Thanos, so that was such a breath of fresh air as well. The character dynamics are great, everyone on set is having a lot of fun, and it ends up being one of the most wholesome and emotional films in the MCU. But number 1 is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Once again, Tom Cruise dominates my top 15 best films list, and he deserves this so much. Everyone on this film deserves it. The effort that goes into these are just mind-boggling, and Tom Cruise somehow steps it up even further in this one. We not only have an external conflict with everyone chasing these keys, but we also have an internal conflict as Ethan Hunt gets haunted by this man from his past. I love his arc throughout the film and seeing how much he values his friends, even if it costs him his life or the completion of the mission. The stunts and scale of the film are somehow even bigger than before. You have newcomers to the franchise like Haley Atwell and Pom Klementieff that instantly become characters that you want to see more of. Seeing Kittredge returning is cool. I love Simon Pegg as always. You can't help but not love and feel and just enjoy the whole vibe, the adrenaline that comes with this movie. It's so fast-paced and emotional and satisfying, and that's what makes it my favorite film of the year. So, what was your favorite? Let me know down in the comments below. Give me your top 15 of the year and maybe 3 honorable mentions if you don't mind. If you want to join the conversation, that's what makes talking about movies so great. And I hope you guys enjoyed the ranking. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video, which will be the top 15 worst movies. Can't wait to tear into some of those. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and goodbye.